Hello, welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to run you guys through the shutdown process of my diesel heater. Here it is. So I've had it running for a while. I'm going to shut it down now. So it's pretty simple. You just turn it off. You got to let it run through its cooling down protocol. You'll notice that that's the glow plug is on. That's to, I believe it's to burn off any residual carbon that has accumulated on the glow plug, any residues from the diesel. And then that's also, you don't want to cool the aluminum casing in there down too quick because it could crack, I suppose. But it takes about 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes to do its shutdown. During that period of time, you do not want to turn off the power supply because it has to run its protocol. So this is the switch to the 12 volt 24 to 12 converter I have in the electrical system. So as I have been renting an apartment and not actually sleeping in here, I've been using different tricks like turning on the heater, using a little homemade 5 volt USB heater, and keeping a jug of hot water in this battery box. That's during the cold months, to keep this battery, in a certain temperature range. I've been doing a pretty good job of that. I don't like opening this up, feeling the battery, and it's like ice. No, that's not good. So it's nice and nominal at this point. So while that's shutting down, I'll see if I can introduce you to my electrical system. It's pretty simple. It's a 24 volt battery, a name brand battery. That's a circuit breaker. So the power comes in by some solar panels. In total, it's a nominal 700 watts. It goes through this DC isolator switch. I have them in series. Yeah, the solar panels are in series. So I forget the specs. But there's the DC isolator switch. The power goes down into the Victron MPPT system, and then from there goes into the climate control box. This is all that Fireblock great stuff. This is a ventilation system for when it gets too hot. So they're actually intakes, and it'll go down outside and under the van. There's some coils, some stainless steel coils that I have a sort of DIY evaporative cooling system. And that's the 5 volt, 5 watt, 1 amp USB space heater. Puts out a little heat, not as much as I would like it to. It would be enough if I, however, instead of mounted it on the wall, kind of did something where it was under the battery. It does okay, I suppose. But with that, I can just shut the cooler, and you'll notice the hinges. There could be a leakage of climate, so I've got a secondary door that closes over the hinges, and then I just strap it down with these spring-loaded straps. And there you go. It's pretty well insulated. We're almost there. And the battery right now is sitting pretty happy, I suppose. And then I'll keep it in there. It'll stay at a constant temperature all throughout the day. And then at night, I'll turn on the USB heater and I'll put a thing of hot water in there. It'll be good to go. Okay, so it is shut down. 13 volts is available. I'm gonna close this because remember in a previous video that air intake does not work. So, and there needs to be, because the fuel will go down over time, and it has just stopped my heater, and I was trying to figure out why is the heater stopping? And then I just cracked that lid open a little bit and problem solved. So I go over here. This is the power converter. Just turn that off. And there you go. I've been wanting to show you guys something else in here. Now, you'll have to prepare yourselves. It's not a funny matter. I want you to try to imagine you're on the space station, or one space station. There's plenty of videos out there where you can get a tour of a space station, and you'll ask an astronaut, hey, so how do you go to the bathroom in space? And they'll be like, oh, well, let's go over here and let's check out the bathroom. And they'll open up the bathroom compartment, and there'll be this like does not look like a toilet at all, right? It looks like some kind of juicing mechanism or sink disposal or small nuclear reactor that you'd put on top of the DeLorean. And then the astronauts will be like, yeah, well, we got, there's water droplets floating around in the space station. There's pieces of food floating around in the space station. You kind of gotta like clean things because there's just crumbs and stuff that sticks to the walls, sticks to the buttons, and among the crumbs and the droplets of water, I have seen a video where the astronaut will actually say, or cosmonaut, they'll actually say, well, there'll be drips of urine, there'll be fecal matter floating around in the space station, and it'll get stuck to walls, especially probably in the bathroom compartment. So I just want you to be prepared for this innovation, which is not a laughing matter. In fact, it is probably the next level in terms of hygiene, and it definitely makes living in a van better. I would say so much better. It just lifts the standard of living to a whole other level. So there's probably one portion of my audience here that will laugh or be like, then there's another portion, probably a smaller portion, that will actually find this interesting and useful and actually vital to their van dwelling experience. Here's the implement which I had to build. I had to build it. So, in short, it's a bidet. Now it's my van bidet, okay? I save on toilet paper this way, and after using this implement behind the shower, I will say that this is the best thing I probably have ever built, or one of the best things I've ever built in terms of making life just better. You can laugh now and sit on your toilet and use your toilet paper. I say that lovingly, but you know what? This is next level if you want to be clean. It's just next level. It requires a little bit more skill to use and a little bit more coordination than using toilet paper, but here it goes. So this is a let's see, it's about 3 gallons. Yeah, these 2 tanks will hold 3 gallons of water, but I only fill it to about halfway, so that's 2.5 gallons, and then the other volume is up to 50 psi. I like to pump it up to 50 psi. I fill it with water, shut the valve. This is 1/8 NPT pin valve, and they're both connected on the top here. It's just a redundancy connection, and then they're connected down there at the bottom. And I have this here to know how much water I've got in there. And then this little attachment is where the water goes, and it's kind of dirty under here, but the high pressure water goes up into the garden spigot. I was looking for a plastic one, but this will work. I actually found a few plastic ones, but this is just the attachment in the van. Get the shower out of the way. This is the receptacle for the water, and this is the actual human to machine interface. This is very space age, okay? Don't laugh. Let's be very objective here, because I don't know how else to say it. This just makes life better if you're living in here. So you'll open the valve here, and it's a gravity fed system, so you'll kind of stand up and hold this in a certain way to where it's all sealed, like it's a complete good seal. You don't want anything to splash out. That hasn't happened to me. It's just a good fit. Yeah, and then when you're done, you'll be like, okay, so sanitation wise, that's a dirty implement, right? Not necessarily, because I have here is this is citric acid. I have a bag of boric acid, so when I was living in here, I was mixing rubbing alcohol and a little bit of boric acid and some citric acid just to make it a really acidic, lethal concoction here. And I would hold it up and I would spray the rubbing alcohol acid cocktail on this thing, and it wouldn't bead on the plastic. It would coat the plastic very uniformly, and when that alcohol would dry, it would leave a film of these dry acids on it and in it and all around it, which all in all is an overall cleaner situation than a lot of people have in their bathrooms. And furthermore, you take some Pine Sol and you just throw it down there, and then it would go down and into the reservoir, and you'd close this, and as you're driving or whatever, the water would slosh in there with the Pine Sol. And effectively sterilize. When it's time to empty this reservoir, which I don't hold more than one use at a time, so it would be a daily use and then purge of the, what do you call it, gray water? I don't think I would quite call it black water, because it's really just a toilet paper substitute. So it's just basically a liquid toilet paper. I would attach the bike pump to here, and with that closed, it would become a pressure vessel, and it would push the water through that line right there, back behind the heater, and into some of the plumbing here. I'd open the valves in such a way that it would just be able to blow out behind the wheel. If I'm parked at a curb, no, that's not curb wise, so you kind of got to be more discreet. So yeah, behind the wheel, it would just along with the sink water, it would just kind of dribble out. It's mixed with Pine Sol, so it's for practical purposes sterile. But yeah, I can't stress this enough. This makes life so much better. It made life so much better than, using toilet paper and just being like, okay, am I clean? So I've been trying to develop this because I feel like this is such a great implement. you know, I use toilet paper, but this is next level, I'm telling you. Here's another sort of adaptation. With the water pressure, it kind of leaks out of this attachment. I did my best at the time, but right now we've got a stainless steel bulkhead fitting here, which is a better seal. If you can notice what's going on here, and also the mouth is a little bit smaller, and so this is probably the next iteration. So in this process, you may be asking, okay, so you've splashed yourself with a lot of water. What do you do next? Well, I've got a box that I had filled with vinegar and added a little citric acid, and then I threw a lot of like rags in it. So you got like moist rags with vinegar and citric acid, and then you'd wipe yourself with those, and then you'd throw those in a hamper, and they would not rot, they wouldn't mold, because they're saturated with all these hostile, not hostile to humans, but hostile to bacteria for the most part, compounds and materials. And then, you know, that'd be in your hamper, and then this would be all sterilized after you sprayed it with the alcohol and acid, and then you'd hook it back up there, and then you're good to go. You're not like irritated or anything. You're a spring chicken. So how about that, you guys? Was that awkward or what? Honestly, it's awesome. So that was the big awkward thing that I was trying to hold back. Some people will be like, oh, that's horrible. Other practical minded people will be like, F and A. So I hope you guys have a good day. This is probably the fourth video. Over and out. See you on the next one. Bye.